Hi, welcome to your first book talk of the school year. Typically we do our book talk separately, but this is the first one. It's kind of special. We read a lot over the summer, so we didn't want to rehash every single thing that we read, but we wanted to hit some of the highlights. And two of my highlights are books that are brand new to the library. We're going to get them cataloged and ready to be checked out. Sarah Dessen, if you know her, you love her. She's a romance, contemporary. It's really good. It's her latest work. It's very nice. It is probably one of my favorites of hers, if not my favorite. Also, Casey West, we have a lot of her stuff. She is what I would consider sort of chick lit romance. Light, funny, nothing too heavy happens. Just good, clean, all-American high school romance kind of thing. Yeah, we have a lot of Casey West, and if you don't love to read, her books are really quickly paced, so they keep you sort of interested and they move fairly quickly, so they're easier to read than some of the other stuff.
Yes,
Speaking of not so easy to read, I'm reading this series.
Those are bricks.
They really are, and they only get bigger. I'm reading the next couple ones as ebooks because we don't have all of them in the library. But it is a book about an English woman in the 1940s who time travels back to the 1700s. And then there's a lot that happens. You get a lot of history, which I really enjoy. The time travel aspect is very small, so we've placed these books in historical because mostly they happen in the past. These are less easy reading. They are heavier and more detailed, but they're kind of nice to see a different perspective of things I thought I knew about, sort of the human aspect of history. So those are a couple of things I read this summer. Miss Wheatley, what'd you get to?
I didn't read as much this summer as I normally do. I was fairly distracted by lots of different things that were going on.
Life.
But I did manage to read a few things. Two of the books that I read this summer are already in our library, so they're ready for you to check out if you want to. This one, Ronnie Patel in Full Effect, is set in Hawaii in 1991. Okay, the author of this book actually did grow up in Hawaii. She is Indian from India, but grew up in Hawaii, which is, primarily Native Hawaiians, Japanese Americans, and so she felt a little bit out of place, but also throughout this book she's finding herself and finding her place in the world, and also rapping. Okay, so if you're interested in early 90s rap culture in Hawaii or anywhere, that sounds really different, and that's part of why I liked it so much, because it wasn't like anything else that I ever read. But the author actually did grow up in Hawaii doing these sorts of things herself. So it's semi-autobiographical, but includes some things that didn't actually happen to her.
Oh.
But it was a great read. This one, Inexplicable Logic of My Life, by Sayans, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I've loved everything that this author has written. This one is about a boy named Sal and a girl named Sam, and they're best friends. And Sal is going through some rough stuff in his life. He has a family member who is ill. Some things are surfacing from his past. He's adopted, so he's finding out some things about his birth parents that he did not know. Things are happening in Sam's life, and there's another friend who's got there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this book.
It's contemporary fiction, which means there's a whole lot of stuff going on in this book.
There's a whole lot of stuff going on in this book. Sometimes it's tragic, sometimes it's funny, but it's very realistic. But I would definitely recommend it to anybody who likes a fast-paced story in which there's
lots of stuff happens.
Yes, life and love and tragedy and all that good stuff. And the last thing, this one was an audiobook, and I checked it out through Reads, which we've talked about before.
Yeah.
If you have a public library card and internet at your house, and either a computer or a smartphone or a tablet or whatever, please come down and let us show you how to get on this. Because I just talked to someone at the library this morning who didn't get to read enough books because she couldn't get to the library, but she had internet and a library card and a device.
We were scandalized.
Yes. But anyway, Waking Gods is book 2 of the Themis Files, I think. Book number 1 was called Sleeping Giants, and it is sci-fi robots from space, okay? So if you like sci-fi robots from space,
it's the book for you.
It's the book for you. If you like audiobooks, or if you don't like to read print books and you want to try an audiobook, this is a great audiobook. Full cast, different voices for all the characters, fantastic sound effects. It was lovely. So yeah.
All right. So be looking for our weekly book talks. we'll be covering books that are in the library, books that we've read outside the library that we might want to add to the library, books that you can get at other libraries for book suggestions. And if we don't ever cover a book you like, come talk to us about other books.
Yes. Or you come and put your face in front of this camera and tell us about the books that you like. These go on our YouTube channel and everybody can see them. I think I made that sound scary, but it's not. It's not that bad. So come and help share what you like to read with other students.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.